One man cried on a bench, the other cried holding a trophy. Same tournament, same year. Two men who spent 20 years being compared to each other, argued about in every barbershop, every group chat, every schoolyard on earth. And in the end, football gave them two completely different endings. This is the story of the last World Cup chapter for Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. How two of the greatest careers in the history of the sport collided with the one trophy that could never be bought, argued into existence, or manufactured by a marketing team. Only earned. Stay until the end, because the way this story finishes will genuinely give you chills, even if you already know what happened. Long before the debate, before Ballon d'Ors piled up on mantelpieces, before "who's the GOAT" became the most argued question in modern sports, there were just two kids trying to make it. Cristiano Ronaldo grew up on the island of Madeira in a small home, the youngest of 4 children. His father struggled with alcoholism and worked as a kit man for a local club. Money was tight. Football was the escape. Meanwhile, in Rosario, Argentina, a boy named Lionel Messi was diagnosed with a growth hormone deficiency at age 11. His family's local club couldn't afford to keep paying for the treatment. Barcelona could. So, at 13 years old, Messi left his entire family behind and moved across an ocean to Spain, alone, homesick, painfully shy, chasing a dream most families could never afford. 2 boys, 2 continents, 2 different kinds of hardship, but the exact same obsession. Neither of them knew it yet, but they were about to spend the next 2 decades defining an entire era of football, together, whether they liked it or not. Germany, 2006. This is where it all begins. Messi is 18. He comes on as a substitute against Serbia and Montenegro, scores a goal, and looks like the most exciting teenager on the planet. But in the quarterfinal against host nation Germany, coach Jose Pekerman leaves him on the bench for the entire match. Argentina lose on penalties. That decision gets debated for years. For Ronaldo, 2006 unfolds differently. He's already a rising star at Manchester United. Portugal reach the semi-final, their best finish in decades. But it comes wrapped in controversy. His United teammate Wayne Rooney is sent off against England, and cameras catch Ronaldo winking toward the Portugal bench right afterward. British tabloids brand him a villain overnight. Some fans in England boo him for years. Portugal lose the semi-final to France. Ronaldo, only 21, breaks down in tears on the pitch. 2 teenagers, 2 different storylines. But both learn the same brutal lesson. This trophy does not come easy, no matter how talented you are. South Africa, 2010. Messi arrives as the reigning World Player of the Year. Expectations are enormous. Argentina crash out in the quarterfinal, thrashed 4-0 by Germany. Messi doesn't score a single goal in the whole tournament. Club football and international football, it turns out, are not the same game. Ronaldo's Portugal also exit early, beaten in the round of 16 by Spain, who go on to lift the trophy that year. Both of the world's best players go home disappointed. Again. Then comes Brazil, 2014, and finally, it looks like this might be Messi's moment. He drags a talented but unbalanced Argentina squad through the group stage almost single-handedly. Argentina reach the final. 90 minutes pass. Extra time begins. In the 113th minute, Germany's Mario Götze volleys home the winner. Argentina lose 1-0. Messi is handed the golden ball as the tournament's best player, but he barely even looks at the trophy sitting a few feet away from him. That photograph becomes one of the most heartbreaking images in football history. For Ronaldo, 2014 is far worse. He arrives injured, undercooked, clearly not fully fit. Portugal don't even survive the group stage. Two of the greatest players alive, and one gets agonizingly close, while the other doesn't make it out of the group. The World Cup keeps slipping through their fingers year after year. By Russia 2018, Messi is 31. Ronaldo is 33. The clock is no longer ticking, it's screaming. Ronaldo opens the tournament with a hat trick against Spain, capped by an unstoppable curling free kick. But Portugal are eliminated in the round of 16 by Uruguay. Argentina's tournament is a disaster, a humiliating 3-0 loss to Croatia. Reports of dressing room chaos. They barely scrape into the knockouts. There, they run into a 19-year-old nobody outside France really knew yet. His name is Kylian Mbappé. He terrorizes Argentina's defense and scores twice. France win 4-3 in one of the most thrilling knockout games in World Cup history. Both Messi and Ronaldo go home before the quarterfinal. Both are in their 30s now. For the first time, an uncomfortable question forms across the football world. Is the World Cup a trophy neither of them will ever win? Which brings us to Qatar, 2022. Messi is 35. Ronaldo is 37. Everyone in football knows the truth, even if nobody says it out loud. This is the last realistic World Cup either of them will play in anything close to their prime. Messi has said as much publicly. This is his last World Cup, one final shot at the only trophy missing from his resume. For Ronaldo, the build-up is messier. Weeks before the tournament, an explosive interview leads to him leaving Manchester United entirely. He arrives in Qatar without a club for the first time in nearly 2 decades. Then, disaster. Argentina lose their opening game to Saudi Arabia, ranked 51st in the world, one of the biggest shocks in World Cup history. Messi's last dance almost ends before it begins. Meanwhile, Ronaldo scores a penalty against Ghana, becoming the first man in history to score in 5 different World Cups. 2 very different starts, 2 aging superstars, both racing the same clock. After the Saudi Arabia loss, something shifts in Argentina. Messi calls a team meeting himself. They beat Mexico. They beat Poland. Belief starts building across an entire nation. For Ronaldo, the story takes a darker turn. In the round of 16 against Switzerland, Portugal's manager benches him entirely and starts 21-year-old Gonçalo Ramos instead. Ramos scores a hat trick. Portugal wins 6-1, without their captain even starting. The message is impossible to ignore. That same day, Messi scores his first goal of the tournament against Australia. Argentina advance. One veteran superstar is being written out of the story. The other is just getting started. Argentina survive a chaotic penalty shootout against the Netherlands. Messi is now 2 wins from the trophy of his life. Portugal face Morocco, who have already stunned the world by eliminating Spain. Ronaldo comes on as a substitute and barely touches the ball inside the box. Morocco win 1-0, becoming the first African nation ever to reach a World Cup semifinal. Cristiano Ronaldo's World Cup, the last one of his prime, is over. The image that follows will define this entire tournament for him. Walking off the pitch, tears streaming down his face. 37 years old, 5 World Cups played, 0 titles, 1. A Moroccan player runs over, not to celebrate in his face, but to console him, to ask for a photo out of respect, not mockery. It becomes one of the most talked about moments of the tournament. Not a goal, a single tear. For a man who built his career on being the hardest worker in the sport, this is the ending nobody, least of all him, ever wanted. Cristiano Ronaldo would never again play a World Cup in anything resembling his prime. While one story ends in tears, the other heads toward its final act. December 18th, 2022. The World Cup final. Argentina versus France. Messi versus Mbappé, the same young player who eliminated him 4 years earlier. Argentina dominate the first half. Messi scores. Di Maria scores. It looks over. Then Mbappe produces 2 goals in under 2 minutes, 2-2. The final goes to extra time. Messi scores again. Argentina lead 3-2. Mbappe answers with a penalty, completing his hat trick, 3-3. For the first time in World Cup history, the final is decided by a penalty shootout. Argentina's goalkeeper, Emiliano Martinez, saves one. Argentina convert theirs. Gonzalo Montiel steps up. He scores. Argentina win the World Cup. Lionel Messi, 35 years old, in his 5th and final World Cup, finally lifts the one trophy that had haunted him for 18 years. It completes, arguably, the greatest individual career in football history. 2 players, 20 years of rivalry. The same tournament, the same year, and 2 completely opposite endings. Messi got his fairy tale. Ronaldo got his heartbreak. But here's the thing worth remembering. A trophy doesn't erase everything that came before it. Ronaldo's 5 World Cups, his goals, his records, none of that disappears because of one final chapter. And Messi's triumph doesn't happen without years of pain first. 2006 on the bench, 2010 humiliated, 2014 heartbroken, 2018 eliminated by a teenager who wasn't even born when Messi made his professional debut. Football rarely gives you a clean script, but every once in a while, it writes an ending so poetic, so cruel to one side, and so beautiful for the other, that no screenwriter on earth could have invented it. That's exactly what Qatar 2022 gave the world. The end of one man's long chase, the absolute peak of another man's story. So, who do you think will ultimately be remembered better for how their story ended? Messi or Ronaldo? Drop your answer in the comments below. I read every single one. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, subscribe because we're covering the untold stories behind football's greatest legends every single week.